What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new video.
Hope everyone's doing well. We are sitting in the M5CS. We actually got a new
camera mount.
A new camera mount.
Yeah, for the window. So hopefully this looks all right and it's not wobbly. I'm trying to figure that out. We just got the M5 back a little while ago from some servicing Dylan at Dynamic Detailing did. I think this was the first time that the M5 had something wrong with it. It had a little bit of an oil leak. So we had a oil pan that needed to be fixed. We also just did like the brake fluid flush and some other stuff. The car has about 46,000 miles on it now. It's doing great.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's hard to believe it's got 46,000 miles on it already.
Yeah, we're getting this across the country to Florida, Las Vegas, California. Pretty much done everything with it, and it's done really, really good. We are going to grab a coffee real quick. I am on my neurology rotation this month. Have some free time. Usually been working like 10 to 5, so that's kind of nice. Doing a lot of stuff that's really super interesting. Doing a lot of obstructive sleep apnea stuff, which I didn't think actually neurology dealt with, but I think that's really super cool. Stroke things, peripheral neuropathy, a lot of, dementia, Parkinson's, things like that are more neurodegenerative diseases, but super, super cool. Doctor I'm working with is awesome. Kind of an elective this month, decided to do something a little bit different, and I've enjoyed it. Well, you and I have been talking about the PITT, which has been awesome.
Yeah, the PITT is really unbelievable, and I really enjoyed that show. And it was interesting because they had that mass trauma, and I think they did a phenomenal job. I think it was just a little bit too much in terms of how many patients they received, but it did remind me a little bit of the NIU shooting. And the command center that was set up, and that's exactly what you do.
We're like doing chest compressions and the intubations in the middle of like the ER, but I mean, I guess during like a mass casualty event, everybody doesn't have their own room, but I just thought some of that stuff was a little bit fake.
I don't think it was fake. I think the number of patients that they received was a little bit excessive, but I don't know. We didn't have that many people. I think we had 28 total. It seemed like they just kept coming.
Yeah.
But it actually is a very accurate show, and what I truly enjoy about the show is it's really kind of telling it from the physician's perspective, and they don't glorify the physician. So they show that physicians are real people, and physicians actually have problems, and physicians are human just like everyone else, and that amount of stress that they undergo and the amount of, whether you call it burnout or not, is real, and especially in a high-stakes environment like the ER. Usually, you don't have that much high stakes in dermatology.
Yeah, but there's a lot of consults, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, that's like the whole thing about the ER, right? They had neurology, they had, orthopedic surgery, general surgery. I think that's super cool, and I feel like the medicine is super amazing. Like last month I was on my OB rotation, and we had delivered a baby with a shoulder dystocia that was like stuck, and when I went home that night,
that's the one that
PITT, it was a shoulder dystocia, and literally to a T, exactly what you do, the McRoberts maneuver, you do DXA afterwards to make sure there's bleeding. The whole process was just incredible, and it's like, the sequence, I was like, this is literally replaying what happened that day, right?
Probably watch the PITT and pass their boards.
Yeah, seriously, if you're reviewing for boards, it's great.
But one of the review courses that I took for ER is HIPPO education, and if I'm not mistaken, I can't swear to this, but I think the guys that are part of HIPPO are the medical consultants for the show. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive I heard that somewhere. And they want to pick out the obscure so that it catches somebody's attention.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's a drama. I mean, it is obviously like a drama, but it's more real life. Like, I remember when you used to work in the ER, Mom and I would watch ER at night on Thursday nights, right? I think it was Tuesday or Thursday nights. That was at Cook County here in Chicago. Much more of like a love story with medicine mixed in, and such over the top, when the Romano guy dies by the helicopter falling on all these explosions.
It's the level of excitement, right? I mean, emergency, right? I mean, the heart's going, you got adrenaline, Nobody expects to go to the emergency room.
Well, there's an emergency this week with the economy. You and I were talking about that, this week is a lot of uncertainty, right? And you were saying in the last video, I don't know if we actually ended up posting that.
I don't think we did,
No, I feel like you and I were talking about the other night, but we never ended up posting it. But you were kind of talking about like uncertainty right now. And
we were talking about anxiety. Anxiety comes from fear and uncertainty, and that's exactly what's happening now. People are fearful that they're going to lose what they have, and there's a lot of uncertainty. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And uncertainty really captures you. You got to get rid of anxiety. You got to close the loop. You got to have the answer. I always joke with you, your whole life is based on certainty, right? You always want to 100% guarantee, and it doesn't work that way. And if you can't close that loop, you continue to ruminate about it, and it just increases your anxiety. So
yeah, it's tough, right? Because, you know, you increase your anxiety, an alert pops up on your phone right away, right? It tells you, oh, hey, Trump put a 104% tariff on Apple and the market drops, right? Yesterday, I remember they said that he was thinking about prolonging the tariffs for 90 days or putting a pause on it, right? And the market jumps up 10%, right? And then it goes back down. So I think, yeah, it is definitely an uncertain time. Medicine kind of weathers, I feel like, the storm, right? It's a pretty stable job, right? I mean, there's times when you might have layoffs in certain specialties, but people are always going to have a heart attack. They're always going to have a stroke. They're going to need an ER doc. I think these times breed a lot of uncertainty, layoffs, and then people neglect certain things like their health and things because everything costs money.
Yeah, you have to be able to take life one day at a time and present in the moment, and things are going to work out. One way or another, they're going to work out. It's important to worry about things and to plan ahead, don't get me wrong. But to ruminate and to worry about things that haven't happened yet is just a waste of time. That's hard. I pretend like I'm such a big hero.
Too, sorry.
Oh yeah,
that's super cool.
But I do the same thing myself. I ruminate about different things, you know.
I think medicine kind of makes the repetition go. Speaking of repetition, we are going to be repeating ourselves hopefully here very soon because we are going to be doing the podcast coming up. That's one thing we wanted to kind of say here. We have a ton of really good guests. I actually just a couple preceptors that I've had over the last year, so I'd love to get on the podcast with my dad. I think, again, my preceptors for OB last month were incredible, super knowledgeable. Ladies that just, you know, were so fun to deal with. But we have people outside of medicine as well that we've been thinking about. We do have the dealer, Florida, that we wanted to kind of bring in as well, more of the business aspect. So a lot of cool things coming in the springtime here. You and I have been super busy. Unfortunately, my mom, your wife's been a little sick recently, so we've been dealing with that.
And I think that's part of the reason why uncertainty there. Yeah. That's part of the reason why you haven't seen my smiling face.
Yeah, no, it's been super stressful. I mean, you know, I think everybody always experiences different kinds of stress throughout their life, whether financial, emotional, family, whatever it is. So right now I've kind of been dealing with that stuff, finishing up medical school. That's been super stressful to get everything ready for residency, transition points. But I know I love watching your podcasts, and I think hopefully we'll have some new things coming up. Do you want to kind of say anybody that's coming on later this month, or do you want to just kind of...
We'll kind of just tease them and just let everybody know that we are going to do it. And one of the things that, God willing, everything works out from the things that you were talking about, but we'd like to be a little bit more consistent. Yes. I think that's extremely important. We had a pause for what Michael was explaining, some of the reasons why we had paused. But yes, consistency is important. I think getting some of the preceptors on, getting some of the Instagram friends that we have. We've been promising one particular gentleman every time he comes on something goes wrong with the equipment and the things.
That one will be a really fun one. Super amazing guy. And then you've been obviously working with a really cool company as well recently that I think is absolutely going to be insane, revolutionary. Every time I hear about it, it's super cool.
We're starting to incorporate a little bit more, if you will, AI and wearables into our entire model because it's one thing to be able to talk, but I think your generation, as well as my generation, I'm not picking on your generation, but people want more things that are concrete to truly see, are they improving? And if you could see that you're improving in real time, that tends to kick the motivation back in.
Remember, it's basically show you the data, right? Like you have the Whoop on now that you've been using.
Yeah, I've been using it.
I remember
according to this, I'm 210 years old.
Well, speaking of also uncertainty, like the AI stuff, that's super interesting. That'll be, you know, uncertain, the big disruptor, of course, right? Again, as the market changes, what's going to happen, we don't really know, but that'll be super cool. I'd love to get somebody that's really knowledgeable about that. Yeah, we're pulling in to get coffee, so little quick video talking about uncertainty, talking about life, where we've kind of been. Figured I got a new window mount for the camera today, so figured make it useful.
Yeah, might as well try it out.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is, again, hopefully, like again with the dealer, we pretty much sold majority of the cars earlier this year, thankfully, before I know there's the tariffs and stuff now, but enjoying a smaller number of cars, enjoying time with the family, I think it's super important. Got definitely some good stuff planned. There's a hearse at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah, that's not a good sign.
A lot of coffee beans can fit back there.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a DQ back there either.
We don't need Dairy Queen, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
Get some coffee.
All right, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, see you soon.